So warm greeting to all. In last video we have discussed about the methods for solving finding inverse Z transform. So in among four methods we have discussed about long division and partial fraction in the previous videos. So now in this video we are going to discuss about residue method. It is the third method in finding inverse Z transform. So it is more or less similar to partial fraction method, except slight variations in that formula. So now we'll see the formula for having, if you are having any single pole, then the formula is z power z minus pk into z power n minus 1 into x of z. So the thing is, in partial fraction, the very first thing what we have done is we have decomposed the x of z into x of z divided by z. It means we have divided the x of z by z. So now in residue method we are going to multiply that x of z by z power n minus 1. So that's the difference between partial fraction and residue method. So in partial fraction we have divided the quotient x of z by z, but whereas in residue method we are multiplying that x of z by z power n minus 1. So the rest of the formula are same. So for finding the single pole, so if you are having only a single pole, the formula is in partial fraction x of z divided by z into corresponding denominator with respect to that pole, right? So here we are having the same formula. Instead of x of z by z, we are having x of z into z power n minus 1 into corresponding denominator with respect to the pole. Okay, and the second formula is for multiple pole of order m, and there we have to use this formula twice for finding the repeated poles. But whereas here, suppose if you are having any repeated pole for the order of m, we are going to use this formula only once in this entire problem. Okay, so the same formula, but instead for n number of terms, we are going to use this formula for only one term. So here the question is x of z 3 in the order of negative order. So the thing is, for ease of commutation, we are going to convert all the negative powers into a positive power. And the very first thing is we are going to multiply this x of z by z power n minus 1, and on both sides. And after that we are having two poles. One is at z equal to 2 and another one is at z equal to 1. So now we are going to find the residue at z equal to 2. The formula is x of z into z power n minus 1 into corresponding denominator at z equal to 2. So after substituting the value of z as 2, we will be getting the value as 9 by 2 into 2 power n. And similarly we can find the residue at the pole z equal to 1. The formula is same, z power n minus 1 into x of z with the corresponding denominator at z equal to 1. So after substituting the value of z as 1, we will be getting the residue as 2 into 1 power n. So for getting the value of x of n, that is inverse Z transform, we have to sum up all the residues. So far we have found two residues in this problem. So we are adding these two, and this gives the x of n. So now we'll see another problem, and this question is having repeated poles. One is at 0.5 single pole, and another one is having a repeated pole because it is having power square. And one more thing here, like in partial fraction, we used to check the powers of denominator and numerator, but that problem is not need to do in this residue method. Okay, so the very first thing is we have to multiply this x of z with z power n minus 1, and after that we are going to find the residue at the single pole z equal to 0.5. So we can know the formula. We are going to multiply this a of z with the corresponding denominator, and we are going to substitute the value as z equal to 0.5. So after doing simplifications, we are getting 2 into 0.5 power n. And now we'll see get the residue at z equal to 1, the second order pole. So we can use this formula only once. So the formula is d by dz into the whole thing, and the denominator of this one with multiplied with g of z. Okay, so we are going to substitute the value of z equal to 1, and the answer is 2 power n minus 1. So now we are going to add these two residues, and it will give the value x of n, that is inverse Z transform. So that's the difference between partial fraction and residue method. So we are using only this formula only once for the repeated poles. So if suppose if you are having instead of having z minus 1 the whole square, you will be having the whole power 16. So at that time too we need not to use this formula up to 16 times, so we can use only once. So by considering this denominator z minus 1 the whole power 16. So this is the difference between partial fraction and residue method. And whereas in partial fraction we have to check for the higher order of the denominator and numerator, and then we have to decompose into z, x of z divided by z. After that we have to go for substitution of formula if we are having repeated poles, and at last we have to bring that to a common basic sequence. Then only we can get inverse Z transform. But whereas here we are having we have to multiply this x of z by z power n minus 1, and then we have to substitute the formula directly by getting the, and after that we have to add the values, that is residues, to get x of n. So so far we have completed 3 methods for solving inverse Z transform. So in next video we are going to discuss about another last method for finding inverse Z transform, that is convolution method. Thank you.